Okay, for whatever reason, it looks like it's working now, and it wasn't working before, so I'll just say what I said before, except better. Good morning, everybody. I'm doing something a little different today. First of all, I'm doing this live, and I'm doing it in the morning while my girlfriend is sleeping, so that's why I'm speaking as softly as possible. But I just wanted to kind of do a solo episode and update you as to where I'm at with my search for political identity, and I'll do it in 4 minutes. Okay. So I come from a progressive home. In 2008, I voted in my first presidential election that I was eligible for Obama. So I did Obama twice, Hillary and Joe. That's the home I come from. I know that I made my dad proud with those votes. But then I got a little bored at work and I decided to go to law school. That really shifted my perspective a lot. But even more so than that was studying critical race theory in my final year. Totally threw me upside down because here I was, this person growing allergic to identity politics in general. But then when you study the ultimate manifestation of identity politics, which is critical race theory in law school, and you're told that uh, American society is white and that is harming black people, you just go, whoa, shit. Have I been really missing this the whole time? I know I haven't been paying attention to politics like I should have, but have I really been missing this extreme hardship that black people and traditionally marginalized groups are suffering under this patriarchy, this white male hegemonic system? So it's very controversial, right? So coming out of that experience, I said, shit, I got to start talking to thought leaders and figure out what I actually believe. And I have, in fact, connected with mostly libertarians since starting this journey. And it's been great. But critical race theory is on one side of the spectrum where not only do we need this state, but we need the state to do things that are racially conscious to achieve racial equity. Okay, that's like one thing. But then libertarianism is all the way over here saying, actually, no, we don't need a state at all. So, what's interesting is that there are areas of overlap. For example, a critical race theorist might say, we need to get rid of the police because look at all the harm they do disproportionately to black people. And the war on drugs, same thing. Well, a libertarian would say the same thing. We don't need the police. We don't need the war on drugs. So that's interesting. But philosophically, at the end of the day, there is such a big gap there, and so I couldn't tell you at the moment if I'm going to actually be a libertarian, but I am enjoying studying the philosophy, which I've just started to do, and connect with thought leaders and presidential candidates and talk to them, and it's very appealing. There's no question about it. But at the end of the day, am I going to be a libertarian? Kind of hard to say. In the previous video that I did that didn't work for some reason, I mentioned, I think his name is Heinz Hermann Hoppe or whatever, and he wrote the book Democracy, the God That Failed. And I guess his argument is that a democracy is like as if you're renting out the government. Every 4 to 8 years, you get a different ruler. Okay, it's like a rental agreement, whereas a monarchy is like an ownership agreement. And the idea is who takes better care of their property, a renter or a homeowner? Okay, so monarchy is better than democracy in his view, but better than both of them is anarcho capitalism. And so, wow, at the end of the day, am I really going to say, I believe in no government, no taxes, everybody fend for themselves? There's a lot of appeal to it, but it'll be really interesting if I actually firmly land there at the end of the day. Um, yeah, so I touched upon critical race theory, my background, the fact that I've talked to a lot of libertarians lately, and I guess the only thing I want to say is that I know that I need to reach out to more progressive people and more conservatives. I've hit the libertarian thing pretty hard. So between now and November, I'm going to try to get more diversity and really make this podcast in its final stretch what it always should have been, which is diversity, open minded, all of that. Oh, and the last thing I wanted to mention was the subject of aliens. Um, because what is this? Really, it's a search for truth, right? What is the proper role of government? What's the proper structure for society? What's right? What's wrong? Well, all these conversations about aliens and UAPs and the spirit world and what's going on at CERN. I mean, look, I'm curious. I'm on X. I see the conversations. I want to know how far the rabbit hole goes. And that's the thing. Once you start questioning the mainstream narrative, the question does become, when do you stop? What to believe. And so it's a fun exercise. I don't know helpful it is, but it's one that I'm doing, which is to go all the way down the rabbit hole and say, okay, if this is true, if the if we are souls and there's technologically advanced races and there's spiritually advanced races of ETs and they're all kind of vying for our souls in the spiritual warfare, if that's true, then what else? Everything downstream from that in politics and culture, it goes beyond, frankly, comprehension for most people, and it is mind blowing. So, is it true? Or are we living in this mundane atheist world where things are just surface level and all that exists is um, able to be perceived by the human eye and the human ear and all that stuff? So, that's about it, guys. Thank you for being here. Just wanted to have some coffee with you this morning. Maybe I won't do this again. Maybe I will. I feel like the other video I recorded was better, but that's life, right? You got to do it. If you said you're going to do it, you got to do it. That's what I'm doing. Thanks, y'all. Peace out.